Orographic lift occurs when an air mass is forced from a low elevation to a higher elevation as it moves over a rising terrain. As the air mass gains altitude, it quickly cools down adiabatically, which can rise the relative humidity to 100% and create clouds and, under the right conditions, precipitation. An urban heat island, or as we call it, UHI, is an urban or metropolitan area that is significantly warmer than its surrounding rural areas due to human activities. The urban heat island effect can be caused by the modification of land surfaces, namely surfaces being changed from grass and soils to pavement. Waste heat generated by energy usage is a secondary contributor. As a population center grows, it tends to expand its area and increase its average temperature.
So what does this mean to a city like Miami? We will be investigating a large local city area to see if its precipitation patterns are being altered by urbanization.
In our first map, we can see the various regions that we will be investigating. Over here we have 5, the Everglades. Over here we have Area 6, the Lower East Coast, and we have Area 7, the Keys. In our second map, we have a satellite image. We can find our Region 5 over here, Fort Myers, all the way through down to the Everglades, excluding the East Coast. The East Coast is our Region 6, Lower East Coast. And we see there's a big difference. The Everglades has very little urbanized area, fewer streets, less pavement. Over on our East Coast, Region 6, we have running from Jupiter down to the Key area. We have a lot of urbanized area. It's just laced with streets. In our Region 7, the Keys, we have a lot less urbanization than the Upper East Coast region to this map. We have running from Key Largo area through to Key West. We have mostly one big major street. We have a lot of greenery over here. In our third map, we can see the precipitation patterns currently from the last 120 days. We have a lot of the heavier precipitations along the East Coast, some of it on the Keys. It's a little bit mixed over there, but our Everglades area seems to be a little lower precipitation rate. Our biggest areas are here on the East Coast. Port St. Lucie is even in the yellow. West Palm Beach is dark green, Boca Raton is dark green. Coral Springs and the Miami and Brickell area are quite dark. The Everglades are pale green with some blue even. And the Keys are a pale blue-green area throughout most of it. We're going to be investigating whether or not these trends are the norm throughout history or if it's a more recent thing coinciding with urbanization.
Identify changes in this area, we will compare the pre-1913 and other areas that still have not yet been urbanized. We will then compare modern data from the same 3 territories to see if there's any identifiable changes. We'll be using data from a 5-year span of each selection to help rule out odd years for precipitation. We will also be grouping data into seasons rather than months or years to isolate seasonal variations.
Chose Section 5, the Everglades, so that we will have a non-urbanized local control. The Everglades were declared a national park by Congress in 1934. This has helped the Everglades resist urbanization and retain much of its native grass, river, and swampland. With some tree hammock growth and small structures, the Everglades have changed very little from our original sample years. The vast majority of the Everglades are unpaved. The areas surrounding the Everglades include farmland, small suburban areas, and low structures.
cypress, not even 200 feet in Big Cypress National Preserve, not even the oldest cypress trees reach 200 feet. So, I mean, just looking at it here, we have a bayhead tree island here. We got 3 different types of tree islands here in the Shark Valley area. We have the Willowhead tree island, which is the lowest elevation, will be probably 1 or 2 feet. Bobcat Boardwalk, which goes through a bayhead tree island as well. It's a 3 to 5 feet of elevation, and then the tropical hardwood hammock, which we don't have any near here, the visitor center, but that has the most elevation at 6 to 10 feet. The Otter Cave is a tropical hardwood hammock, which is half a mile walk from the visitor center.
Right.
Now there you'll probably have a cypress tree that will grow because of the higher elevation. Cypress trees can probably be, I think that one in there's maybe 50 feet, more or less.
Wow.
50 feet at least, and that's because it's a really old cypress tree. The older they are, the bigger they get, the larger they will grow. But as far as average height, maybe we're looking at bayheads here. Maybe the tallest tree in there's probably a 20-foot tree, I guess, more or less, 15 feet, but as in 200 feet.
How have you seen changes over the years in the park area? Has there been any advancements in buildings, or have they been able to keep it mostly preserved?
As far as Everglades National Park, it's been preserved and it's been preserved. I've only been here for 2 years here in Shark Valley, but I'm local here in South Florida. As far as keeping the Everglades National Park preserved, yes. As far as Miami continuing to build west, that's been stopped now with the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan, and they're not going to build anything west of Chrome because you're impeding into the national park. But as a kid growing up in Miami, did I see a lot of development west of 137th Avenue and A Street? Yes, a lot. All those houses that you see from 137 and A Street on the Tamiami Trail that go all the way to 152nd Avenue didn't exist maybe 10 years ago.
Right.
And that's getting too close into the national park. And that's our main problem. I mean, in Florida, is overpopulation and there's people building into getting too close to our wilderness. We are the largest wilderness area east of the Mississippi River, even east of the Rocky Mountains. We protect and conserve 1.5 million acres of land here in Everglades National Park, and 1.5 million of those acres are 1.3 million of those acres are wilderness area.
Wow.
But I mean, there's not a lot of wilderness area left in the state of Florida.
Right.
In Region 6, the Lower East Coast, Miami Beach has seen an increase in urbanization since the year 1913, when the causeway was constructed. Urban areas are concentrated on the coast, and building heights reach up to 789 feet in the Miami area, and even taller, close to 1,000 feet in other coastal city areas in the 6th region. These building heights may contribute to orographic lift, and there is much parkland that is still a majority of paved areas. So it may be possible to see urban heat island effects contributing to these conditions in this region. Section 7, the Keys. Here's a significant portion parkland and some urban and suburban areas. Being that they consist mostly of low structures, we may be able to rule out any possibilities of change due to west versus east coast factors, such as seasonal directionality of storms and effects from the coastal bodies of water.
In our first set of line graphs, we'll be reviewing the Everglades. Here we have our precipitation patterns for our first set of years, 1908 through 1913, and the years 2010 through 2015. In our first set of line graphs, we have about equivalent amount of time being spent under the average, which is about 54 for this area. More like 53, something like that. But we have about equivalent amount of rainfall. The numbers actually average out pretty close. In our second set of graphs, the keys, we also have surprisingly about the same amount of rainfall. We're spending about as much time over the average as under the average. This average is a longer period of time than these graphs, though. This is the general average from about 1880 through to current time. In our lower East Coast area, though, we actually do spend more time above the average than under the average more recently. So we actually have a slightly higher rate of precipitation currently than we had in our 1908 through 1913 period. In conclusion, there may be some changes based on our data. We may be observing weather variations brought on by urbanization, although further analysis may be needed to verify these results. Thank you for watching our presentation.